Congratulations to the Midway Panthers football team on their way to state.
We take it out now to a look at what happened overnight here, where a semi caught flame on I-35 northbound just near Grand Avenue Parkway. Crews are still on scene trying to get this cleared and wrapped up. There were no injuries reported, thankfully. So this happened around 2:30 a.m. on the interstate near the Waukesha Drive ramp in Pflugerville. And again, that's near Grand Avenue Parkway, just north of Wells Branch. So 2 lanes of I-35 are open. The frontage road, it looks like only 1 lane is open on the frontage road in that area. Officials say the truck tires actually caught fire first, and then that flame spread to the main cabin. As we go over to a main look at your roads area wide now, this is causing major backup for drivers who are headed into Pflugerville this morning. Backups are now stretching almost all the way over to Walnut Creek. Let's take a look as we move our traffic maps. Bear with me here. Almost an hour-long delay, David, from Parmer over to Grand Avenue Parkway. To give you some perspective, that's about a 4-mile stretch. So if you're even commuting in from downtown into Williamson County, heads up, here's actually a look at those heavy delays on northbound I-35. And I do want to show you the scene as they're still working to clear out this semi. Probably won't be cleared for the remainder of the day. If you're traveling to Dallas, maybe the Round Rock outlets, you may want to rethink that or consider 130 or Mopac.
Yeah, you warned us about that at 4:30 this morning. Now people are going 4 miles an hour on the interstate. Today's forecast, guys, at least this is nice. Sunshine out there on Amanda's cameras and near record highs, even on this first official day of winter. By 4 or 5 p.m., we're up at 79, 2 degrees shy of the record in town. 33, though, right now in Llano. So even though we are warming up quickly, you might need a jacket for the next couple of hours. 40s in Marble Falls and Austin, 49 degrees. Good morning in Giddings. Now, after a nice day today, we have clouds pulling back in very quickly tonight. When our rain chances begin, because it might be sooner than you think. Coming up next. John?
All right, David, thank you very much. And developing overnight, Australian police say this crash here in Melbourne was deliberate, but at this point there is no evidence linking it to terrorism. 14 people were injured. 2 people were arrested. Police say one of the suspects is an Australian man of Afghan descent who has a history of drug use and mental health issues. That car plowed into a crowd in one of Melbourne's busiest areas.
It just didn't stop at all, and the intersection was completely choked with pedestrians, and it just barreled through the pedestrians. And the only thing that I think slowed it down was just the volume of pedestrians that he hit, and it was just pandemonium, and all you could hear was screams.
Well, among the people hurt is a child who is said to be in serious condition.
Well, in time for the holiday rush, crews hope to clean up the train derailment in Washington state. Some of the lanes reopened yesterday. 3 people were killed and 100 were injured. The governor there says Amtrak will pay the costs associated with the derailment, as well as medical and other expenses for the victims. The train was going almost 3 times the speed limit while going around a curve when it went off the tracks. Experts say it's possible the engineer may have been distracted, and there was also a conductor in training in the cab with him. Amtrak says that's not unusual. It is 8:03 and some good news to report out of Houston this morning. That Amber Alert is over. Police have found that 6-week-old baby who was missing. They found her safe and sound in a Houston apartment. Little Shamali Flores vanished after her mother was found stabbed to death in her North Houston apartment on Tuesday. No word yet, though, about any arrest in the case. Police were saying, though, they believe that a woman took the baby, trying to pass her off as her own. The baby's father was named a suspect at first. Now, he was found in San Antonio without the baby and says he didn't kill the mother.
A lot of times when these type of incidents happen, when someone's brutally murdered, people always think about men, and they don't realize that women are just as capable of committing murder, especially a woman who's lost a baby or has emotional issues.
Again, the little girl has been found safe, unharmed in Southwest Houston, an apartment there. That's all police are saying. They did take her to the hospital so the baby can get checked out. Once police release new information to us, we will tell you later on this morning.
Well, in the week since the Austin City Council rejected the latest offer from the police union, 17 officers have retired and 6 more are also on the way out. But there are 93 cadets graduating from the APD Academy on Friday. APD officers are some of the highest paid in the country, but without a contract, they could lose supplemental pay for education, taking a tougher schedule, or additional training.
It's going to take time, and for me to get involved in that, it would be another stressor that necessarily as a new police officer I don't need to deal with right now. All I'm focused on is the job that I have to do every day.
Daryl Cantu Harkless, who we heard from there, echoes what a lot of other cadets told us as well. Basically, they trust the police association and the city will eventually come together on an agreement. Last December, to give you some perspective on this, there were only 8 retirements, 57 for the entire year. The current contract expires on December 29th. After that, police are going to operate under the Texas Civil Service Law, which means less pay for the officers and also less oversight for the public.
With 4 days left to shop for those Christmas gifts on your list, the rush is on.
Yeah, the Texas Retailers Association is telling us that sales are up 11% compared to last year, and that means seasonal jobs are also strong. One of the biggest areas of growth has, of course, been in online sales. And they run the gamut from mom and pop shops all the way up to big box retail stores. The Retailers Association says businesses are adapting after Amazon changed the way we shop.
They definitely set a trend, but I think the other part of the story is that isn't being told as much is that many of those companies and stores that we all know and have known for many years have adapted and have moved to those models, and you're now seeing them compete very, very effectively for those shoppers with Amazon.
Well, free shipping and in-store pickup for items have also been credited with helping increase sales.
You can already start getting ready for the new year if you want. Fireworks are on sale. Chester Davis owns American Fireworks, and he says all the recent rain makes it perfect for the fireworks, but you still have to be careful what's around you.
Some places are better for stick rockets. Some places are better for fountains. Some environments are better for 500 grams. So you got to be smart enough to determine where is the area you're going to shoot your fireworks. So when you purchase your fireworks, know where you're going to go to shoot them off.
Fireworks stands are open through New Year's.
Well, a lot of folks still making their New Year's plans. We hope you'll spend it with us over on KXAN, because starting at 11:30 on New Year's Eve night, we have the Lone Star Countdown to 2018. It's a live party from Dallas. There's going to be live music, including the band Jacqulyn, and a 360-degree fireworks show at midnight. That's going to be again over on KXAN. If you want to go in person, though, go to KXAN.com. Click on that countdown timer there, and we have all the ticket details for you right there. When an Austin woman got a call from her granddaughter saying that she was in trouble and needed money for an attorney, she sprang into action. But after sending off $15,000 in cash, she realized she had been scammed. But as KXAN's Brittany Glas reports, a savvy Travis County Sheriff's deputy saved the day as well as the money.
It was early and I just picked it up.
93-year-old Renata Collins doesn't want to show her face out of fear.
The phone rang at 10 in the morning with a girl crying. Sounded a lot like my granddaughter.
Collins' granddaughter was supposed to be traveling to Texas to celebrate the Christmas holiday. Instead, the woman tells her she was in an accident.
We slipped and hit a lamppost, and the police came and they took us to the jail.
The man posing as a lawyer tells Collins he needs $15,000 cash to get her out.
I had many questions that they so coolly answered. I fell for it.
Collins went to the bank, then the closest FedEx to send the cash. 15 grand.
Something hit me, so I called my granddaughter on her phone. I said, "Are you all right?" "Oh yeah, I'm at the gym."
That's when she called 911. Travis County Deputy Jason Vizcarra knew tracking the package was the priority.
Found out it was still in the Austin area, so we still thought we had time to retrieve the package before it took off.
TCSO got in touch with FedEx. The package was found and intercepted at the airport. The cash untouched inside.
It's the holidays. $15,000 is a lot of money.
Deputy Vizcarra and his partner hand-delivered it to Collins.
We got the money back to her, yes.
This time, a happy ending.
I hugged all of them and gave them candy.
Brittany Glas, KXAN News.
Brittany says that if you get a call and you think it's suspicious, the Travis County Sheriff's Office wants to know, and they also want you to do a few things. Take down the caller's number, the name and the title and the office location they give you. Tell them You will not buy a gift card or money card to pay them. And if they persist, just hang up. Call 311 or 911 to report your suspicious phone call. The Marble Falls Library Thrift Store is also warning customers out there, be careful for an email scam that's going around asking you for money. According to the Daily Trib, the message tells customers that they have an overdue account and it's asking them to send money using PayPal. It's not true. Thrift store says they never use PayPal.
Now, first warning weather.
Hey, 8:10 this morning, and we are watching some clouds already starting to pull in from the hill country. Even though we're sunny, cool right now, we've got a warm and cloudy afternoon on the way. The clouds, which really pull in this afternoon, they lower and they drop a little bit of rain by later this evening. Trail of Lights is misty, foggy, and drizzly as soon as the time you head out there this evening, and certainly by 10 p.m. closing. Otherwise, you might bring the wet weather gear, but certainly not the cold weather gear. We're near 70 all night. Our pollen forecast today does have the return of cedar. Might be bad news because of the sunshine. Cedar, though, should be knocked out by some of the rain over the next couple of days. Mold count is still medium. That's pretty much identical to where it has been for days or weeks. Coming up, I'll show you a rainy day tomorrow. Sharply colder temperatures arriving, whether or not the rain clears out by your Friday night plans, and of course an update on those freezing cold temperatures for Christmas morning. As you head out, you can always hear me and more of your forecast on Spirit 105.9. Want to get you over to Amanda, though, for a few spots with delays.
We are watching where, of course, rush hour is underway. But speaking of rush hour, it doesn't seem to have really kicked off at all. Northbound 35, southbound 35 in North Austin out of Williamson County is just a mess here. You can see we have a new crash in Round Rock at 1431 at I-35. Round Rock police are on scene. If you're maybe using these main lanes of the interstate heading from Parmer to Grand Avenue Parkway, about a 3.5-mile commute, you're looking at over a 40-minute delay. Look at southbound 35 out of Round Rock. A lot of this has to do with drivers who are just kind of rubbernecking when they come across that burnt semi on the opposite side of the road. But really, other than that, your commute is looking pretty good here for your Thursday drive at 8:12.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. Travis County hopes to unclog the backup at the courthouse. The program now giving first-time offenders a chance to stay out of jail.
And a North Texas mom proudly cheers on her daughter as she leads her football team to history. It is 8:13. You're watching KXAN News on the CW Austin.
With Christmas around the corner, Santa's gearing up to spread some holiday magic, and I'm going to track him from around the world. The Storm Team is on high alert for Old St. Nick, and we'll be giving you updates all day long on his location around the world. Tune in Christmas Eve for some Christmas cheer and hourly updates on Santa Claus's arrival to Central Texas. Brought to you by Ashley Furniture of Waco and Bryan College Station, Mill King Market and Creamery, Sterling Subaru, and Mike's Dawes Plumbing.
Hello, my name's Paul Valentine.
And I'm Byron Jackson. Come by and let us show you why quality is in our name.
For over 30 years, we've been providing quality service and quality cars in the Central Texas area. Check out our Google reviews.
Good credit, bad credit, even first-time buyer programs. We're here to make your car buying experience fun and exciting. Come by and see why quality is in our name. And remember the ABCs of car buying.
There's always better cars at Quality Cars.
Springer, Maury. Tune in weekdays starting at noon for Jerry Springer and Maury, right here on Fox 44, KWKT, TV for me.
A North Texas high school football team waking up this morning as state champions, and one member of the team has a very special reason to celebrate, and so does her family.
Larry Collins reports from AT&T Stadium in Arlington.
On the grandest stage in North Texas, history has its eyes on the football field.
It's a big deal, very big deal.
It's not the quarterback or the coach.
I'm here to see the best kicker in six-man football, Kaylani Nava.
Because she's the first girl to go to state.
And what does that mean?
That she's special.
Number 6, a 5'3", 140-pound giant of inspiration. Senior Kaylani Nava in her last game and her first state title bid.
I'm going to cry. I'm already going to cry when she does get on the field, but I'll be balling.
Oh, yes. That is going to happen. I think it's going to happen for the whole family.
Making history, breaking boundaries with a kick, and another, and another.
It shows them that they can do anything. You know, small town girl like Kaylani can make history. Maybe they can too.
I could be a doctor. I could drive a plane.
In a male-dominated sport, her mom said she never worried.
The very first time she stepped out on that field as a bad snap, she got laid out, she popped up, and that's when I was like, she can handle this.
And support grew quickly.
It's crazy. I mean, people that I haven't seen in years.
With a population of only 649 people and these stands full of cheering fans, you wonder who's left at home in Strawn.
Not a whole lot. I'm sure the town shut down. Maybe the marshals stayed to protect it, but that's it.
Her biggest fans may be the little girls, now with huge dreams and no limitations.
Strong Greyhounds won their state title 78-42.
78 points. Wow.
Yeah, she's going to play football in college. She's not going to play football in college, but says that this taught her something that she can just accomplish anything she can in life. I think she should play football in college, by the way.
Amen.
I think she should too.
I love too that her uncle was balling while she was out there balling. You know?
And to play in that stadium, what a cool
Yeah.
experience.
Very neat.
All right, guys, nice forecast. You can see the sunshine out there behind us. Let me take you to your forecast today. It's nice and warm, relatively speaking, here when you see the -2 up in Fargo, North Dakota. That's important for our forecast because that cold front is coming here tomorrow. In the meantime, yes, we have another, this one even colder cold front coming this Christmas Eve. 18 degrees below zero without a wind chill up in Alaska and the Yukon Territory. That is the air that we will be breathing 3 days from right now. Get to that in just a moment. How about the Oasis Cam? It's so beautiful out there this morning. The lake is completely calm. There is the one sometimes island. Clear skies for now, but our clouds will be increasing this afternoon and evening. Temperatures, since there's not much wind, really variable. Near freezing in Llano, but 23 degrees warmer, 22 degrees warmer rather, in Dripping Springs. That's just the cold, heavy air settling down in the valleys, whereas the hilly locations or the urban areas remain a little bit warmer. Now today, we are close to a record high, but I don't think we quite get there. Clouds pull in after lunchtime. Record is 81. Austin hits 79. Pretty unusual on this first day of winter. The first storm system rolls in tomorrow, and this cold front and storm brings snow to the Rockies. It's going to mean a big impact on our weather, actually starting before we go to bed tonight. The clouds are associated with this storm. We're going to see them pulling in a big way by dinner time. And watch this. If you're heading out to the Trail of Lights tonight, I don't think it gets rained out because this isn't heavy rain soaking the ground, but we will be misty, foggy, and a little rainy through the late evening hours. Here we go through tomorrow morning. As that storm and the cold front approach, which I'll show you the cold front in a moment, we have a better likelihood of some on and off rain, even some thunderstorms. And yes, that does continue through lunchtime tomorrow, all the way until the early evening. Notice though, if you're not out and about until after dinner time on your Friday night, I'm actually more optimistic we get rid of the rain, but it will be jacket weather. Show you that in just a moment. Severe storms, yeah, they're possible east of I-35, but don't hold your breath, only a very minor risk. I'll let you know if anything changes. Forecast rain totals, nice and widespread, but they're light, mainly under 1/3 of an inch. How about the temperatures? This is important. We're warm today. We're warm through the first half of tomorrow, but watch this. A sharp line of colder air rolls through the Austin metro. Looks like early afternoon, and we're going to drop from the 70s to the 50s by dinner time. Tomorrow night, yes, it gets even colder than that. We're near 40 by Saturday morning. So again, today, no rain, nice and warm, just some clouds pulling in. There's your high of 72 early in the day tomorrow. Boy, those two cold fronts are really going to drop our temperatures down to freezing on a dry, cold Christmas morning. Let's talk to Amanda now. Lots of sunshine on your roadways.
That'll definitely be something nice to greet your commute with. So you have a great sunrise, good forecast, and you know what? Already in most areas around town, rush hour isn't really an issue at all today. A lot of people already on that winter vacation and getting out of town. If you're in Round Rock, we do have a crash coming in at 1431 here near I-35 in the final clearing stages. Now let's talk about 35 northbound, maybe out towards Pflugerville, north of Austin, really a 60 or rather over an hour backup from Breaker to Grand Avenue Parkway after a semi caught fire overnight. Here's actually a look at some of that backup. One lane is blocked on the interstate. More on that crash at KXAN.com.
Are clogging the court system in Travis County, but not for long. Starting next year, low-level marijuana possession cases are now going to be diverted to a special judge.
People facing charges for the first time can get off with a clean record if they're willing to put in the time and pay a small fee. KXAN's Jacqulyn Powell explains how it all works.
The Travis County Attorney's Office says it sees more than 3,000 marijuana cases a year, and most are for minor possession. The county hopes a 4-hour class will help solve that problem.
Education is one of the best ways to deter recidivism, repeat offenses.
Mark Pitzer sat me down in one of the classrooms where he and other instructors will teach the course starting at the end of January. First-time offenders caught with 2 ounces of weed or less will have the choice of bypassing the criminal justice system, no jail time, no fine, and no attorney's fees, by simply paying $45 and sitting through the class.
I think a lot of our clients come in here and they have some misconceptions.
Instructors will go over marijuana laws, common myths, and the drug's effect on the brain.
About the things that are science-based that we know, things like impact on driving ability.
The goal, to get through to people who aren't thinking about the consequences.
Maybe they're at least now contemplating the issue and saying, well, what is the role of marijuana in my life, and is it possibly problematic?
And first-time offenders won't have a scarlet letter M on their record when they apply for a job. Pitzer calls it a win-win.
The county benefits from, number one, the courts not being congested. Number two, clients are less likely to repeat offend, and then the client wins because they've got a better opportunity moving forward with their future.
Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News.
Well, this is a one-time offer. Travis County already offers a similar 8-hour course available to repeat offenders or with people who have heavier charges, but those offenders still have to go through the entire court process and go through a lengthier, costlier process just to get their record expunged.
The city of Austin has already taken steps to cut down on the number of people taken to jail for possessing small amounts of marijuana. In 2009, then Police Chief Art Acevedo converted to a cite and release program. The idea is to reduce the time officers take to handle suspects with minor offenses, giving them more time to focus on higher priority crimes. Last year, Williamson County got a $65,000 grant to start a similar program. This year, people caught with less than 2 ounces of marijuana now get fingerprinted and have to go to a processing center to receive a court date instead of going to jail.
Harris County worked with the city of Houston to roll out a similar policy earlier this year, offering a diversion class to marijuana offenders. If you take the class, the misdemeanor goes off your record. The DA said the county spent more than $26 million a year on those cases. Both Dallas and Bexar County started cite and release programs as well for misdemeanor cases earlier this month. We'll talk about that later on KXAN.com. David, good morning.
Good morning. Live view from our Highland Furniture River City Grill Cam on Lake Marble Falls. It's not only the Trail of Lights, it's not only the Winter Wonderland, but the Walkway of Lights going on out there on 281. It's 44 degrees, feeling like winter this morning, but near record heat this afternoon. Love your forecast in just a minute.
And Central Texas is known as the heart of Texas because everybody knows it. Everybody comes through here, and you've built this city and this town and this region on hard work and pride. And that's what we're doing at Fox 44. If it matters to you, it matters to me.
Developing news from KXAN News.
And that developing news we've been watching all morning long here. Lanes of I-35 northbound, only one lane open after a semi-truck caught fire earlier this morning. No one was hurt when it happened. It was around just before 2:30 on I-35 near Waukesha, and that's not far from Pflugerville, actually just north of Wells Branch Parkway. 2 lanes of I-35 are open, and the frontage road is also open in the area. What we heard from officials is that the truck's tires caught fire and then that flame quickly spread all around the main cabin. What you need to know now at 8:30 is that this is still a situation. Let's take a look at the tech stock camera. Here it is. Here are the remains of that semi. Now it's over in the shoulder of the road. Crews have been working actively to get this cleaned up and then completely off the road. The right lane remains blocked. Traffic is slow from breaker. It's just gradually gotten worse throughout the morning. Let's take a look area wide at your road. So even if that's not part of your commute, rush hour is pretty non-existent on all other major roads. Now, if you do have to use 35, Breaker to Grand Avenue Parkway, that's about 3.5 miles. And our maps are saying it's going to take you, live update, almost a 50-minute backup. So you have a few options. You can maybe stick to northbound SH 130, northbound Lamar, maybe even northbound Mopac will help you move around you. And I assure you, all of those roads are empty at this time. Back over to our tech stock camera just so you can get another glimpse of this situation. We have more pictures of this crash over at KXAN.com. Now, one of the area's most dangerous intersections could see traffic delays today as crews work to make it safer. We're talking about the traffic signal at Slaughter and Manchac Road. It's actually going to be out starting at 10 a.m., so about an hour and a half. And then police will be out there directing traffic until 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that's already a busy spot. Plan for more delay than usual. I want you to be prepared for that. Crews are actually trying to get some of that construction wrapped up at the intersection. I actually have a story that'll air tonight on KXAN News about that project. Morning, David.
Hey, good morning. We'll watch for that. In the meantime, we'll enjoy near record heat this afternoon on this first official day of winter. 78 in San Marcos, 79 in Austin. A couple spots in the western and northern hill country, Llano, San Saba. You guys could easily hit, maybe even top 80 degrees. Now, it is warm this afternoon as clouds roll in, but this morning clear and chilly at 49 degrees. The clouds that roll in this afternoon might actually start to produce rain before bedtime. I'll get you ready for the change in your trail of lights forecast coming up. John?
All right, David, thank you very much. The House is expected to vote on a temporary funding bill today. Lawmakers have until midnight Friday to avoid a government shutdown, or at least extended until January 19th. The bill also includes nearly $3 billion to help keep the Children's Health Insurance Program running. 9 million kids are covered by that program, which is for kids whose families don't qualify for Medicaid but also can't afford private insurance. GOP aides say that if the House passes the bill, the Senate will move on it as quickly as possible. And to help that funding bill pass, lawmakers decided to separate the $81 billion disaster aid package and introduce it as its own bill today. The money would be used for recovery in Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and California. And according to the Swiss insurance firm Swiss Re, the total damage caused by natural and man-made disasters this year is $306 billion. Compare that to $188 billion last year. Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria alone eclipsed the number from last year.
Strong winds rolled into California overnight, making it really hard for firefighters once again to contain that Thomas fire. Firefighters used 3 days of the calm conditions they did have to bulldoze containment lines and set controlled fires to clear the dry brush. But even that is not going to stop the wind from carrying this fire to spread into what is the worst in that state's history. The fire has destroyed at least 750 homes and killed 2 people. It's 60% contained. They hope to have it fully contained by the first week of January. The sweeping tax reform bill is now headed to the president's desk after passing the House. No word yet on when he expects to sign it, but when he does, AT&T says that it's going to pay 200,000 employees a $1,000 bonus. The company has also promised to increase its capital expenditures budget by $1 billion in the U.S. The bill permanently lowers the corporate tax rate to 21% from 35%. Now, this is happening as the company tries to get their merger with Time Warner pushed through the federal regulation process, but the Justice Department is trying to block that one. Comcast and NBC Universal say they too will give out $1,000 bonuses for its employees. Company cited the tax reform passage and the FCC's action on broadband. Company also pledged a multi-billion-dollar spending commitment to broadband, television, and Universal theme parks.
Well, the Rockdale High School football team is playing for a state championship later today. It's going to be the culmination, though, of a year that started with tragedy for the team. One of the players lost his father on the day before training camp started, and the team itself has also had to overcome slow starts to get where they are now.
Life is full of adversity, and how you handle those situations are going to determine how successful you are in a lot of cases.
Well, the Tigers play Brock this afternoon at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. If they win, it would be their first championship in more than 50 years. Well, 2017 brought some of the worst natural disasters in U.S. history, from hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria to the devastating wildfires in California.
In Central Texas, we're coming out of the other side of the worst disasters that we've ever seen, including the flooding on Memorial Day weekend in 2015. Hays County did reach a milestone in that recovery process yesterday, completing repairs on that last bridge destroyed by the flooded Blanco River.
But as KXAN's Lanmon reports, there is still work to be done elsewhere.
This spot showed the scars of the Memorial Day flood. It was kind of the final reminder
when people drove across the temporary bridge of what happened.
But scars heal. It transformed from a one-lane bridge made of flat rail train cars to a now permanent two-lane bridge with shoulders.
It is designed to withstand any flood that comes through, so this bridge will not wash away.
This is the final major project caused by the flood for the county, a $900,000 fix. So, what's next?
This frees up personnel to be able to concentrate on a lot of those other projects that are still out there.
Other projects pending, like upgrading low water crossings and cleaning out creeks and riverbeds. And the county now has more time to focus individually on the residents.
Several homeowners in Hays County are still going through the process of rebuilding or repairing their homes that were damaged.
It's a slow process, more than 2.5 years now. But this bridge serves as a reminder to those struggling that recovery is within reach. Lauren Lanmon, KXAN News.
Well, the new bridge was finished more than a month ahead of schedule. County leaders say that it was all done within budget as well. Well, there are only 3 more nights left to enjoy the Trail of Lights here in Austin. Saturday night closes with a movie night. If you had tickets on a night, though, that has already been canceled because of the weather, you can call or email to schedule them for another night. You have that information on their website. KXAN, by the way, is a proud sponsor of the Trail of Lights.
Time check right now is 8:37. Apple finally explaining why older iPhones tend to run a little slower. In a statement yesterday, the company says a software update is to blame, released last year, and it makes your phone slower to help with problems from an older battery. So they add, as the batteries get older, the phone could suddenly stop, it could shut off, it could lose charge quickly. Last year's software impacted the iPhone 6 series, but this year's update will extend over to the iPhone 7. Some people have complained that their phones would slow down when new models were released to force them to get an upgrade, but Apple has denied that.
Well, some major travel days are coming up around Central Texas, and be careful when you're on the roads because police are going to be out looking for people who are breaking the law.
Over in Hays County, though, sheriff's deputies are pulling drivers over for doing the right thing. Chris Davis explains.
Delta 116, go ahead.
Deputies have this place staked out.
There we go. This guy's coming in.
Waiting to move in.
Good. I'm Deputy Gamble with the Sheriff's Office.
What are you guys doing?
When they think, oh my gosh, what have I done?
Deputy David Gamble isn't cutting anyone slack this morning.
I noticed you were wearing your seatbelt when you came in here.
Yeah. He and the rest of the Hays County Motor Unit are cutting checks instead.
So on behalf of the Hays County Motor Division and the Sheriff's Office, I'm going to buy y'all's breakfast this morning. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
What? Merry Christmas. We're not out here, especially as motor cops, we're not out here to just write tickets.
Instead of giving you a citation, we give you gift cards and Merry Christmas.
Okay, thank you.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas.
Yes, ma'am.
I was pretty excited. I didn't know what was going on.
But it was this really nice, sweet treat.
The unit spent $1,000 for a pile of $10 gift cards at 4 restaurants around the county.
Show me card. Yeah. Merry Christmas. That's awesome.
It's money they raised themselves from their own pockets to take their bikes to a skills competition. That fell through.
So we ended up with a surplus of money, and you're going to benefit from that this morning because you're wearing your seatbelt.
I just did not expect that, so it's kind of sweet.
It's a small way they're reaching people who might have soured on law enforcement.
And we just want to make sure that we're, showing the human side of it.
Following the law never tasted so good.
Smile. We do truly care about our community.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Chris Davis, KXAN News.
Now, first warning weather.
Nice story there. Let me take you out to the satellite and radar, guys, where we're watching some clouds pull in from west to east. Still a nice morning, but by the time we get to the afternoon and evening forecast, yeah, we're cloudy, we're misty, drizzly, and even fog rolling in. Trail of Lights isn't a bad place to be tonight because it'll be pretty warm. This drizzle will be light. You might want to bring the rain jacket, though, just to be safe. You can see that fog actually rolling in, not during the morning tomorrow, but kind of unusual during the evening tonight. Here it comes from our southeastern counties into Austin. Visibility late tonight if you're going to a holiday party or the Trail of Lights, it will be low and your roadways will be getting wet. Pollen forecast, mold is medium as it has been. Cedar, though, with the return of dry sunshine, it is low. Now, the cedar will be helped out by the rain that's coming tonight and tomorrow. I'll show you coming up when we turn sharply colder, if the rain is out of here by the time you hit the town tomorrow night, and that cold snap on the way by Christmas Eve. Let's check with Amanda in the meantime. 8:40, and you're still watching 35, but otherwise we're okay, right?
That's right. You know what? Other than this right here, traffic is great all around town. Here is a glimpse at where traffic gets down to 2 lanes on northbound 35 just before you reach Grand Avenue Parkway. If you haven't heard, if you're just waking up and joining us, there was a semi that burst into flames overnight. It happened around 2:30 this morning, and crews are still trying to clean it up. There were no injuries. Flames are out now, but in order to clean up that process, they have to close this very far lane for those emergency crews. Now, an aerial wide look. I know I just mentioned that things are looking great, but you may not believe me until you see it yourself. It's up for you now. Here's a look at all your roads area wide. A lot of green on the maps. I've tried to zero in here by shutting off all those other highlighted nearby roads and just focusing on 35 so you can get some perspective of where the backup kicks in on those northbound lanes. If you do have to use them, maybe you're trying to get over out of town into Williamson County or continuing to Dallas for the holiday. Maybe you got to get to the Round Rock outlets. You can see right before Parmer is where those delays get particularly heavy. We also have southbound traffic moving slowly out of Round Rock, most likely just some nosy drivers taking a look at the opposite side of the highway.
Okay, if you like art, you could win a prize. How Google is getting people interested in art and Austin's culture.
And a medical miracle, a baby just born, already breaking records. It's now 8:42 and you're watching KXAN News on the CW Austin. Offering up a prize to enjoy some of the art of Austin. Over the past few months, Google Fiber collaborated with local artists and they created a series of murals that celebrate the culture and the history of the cities that are served by Google Fiber. And they've now launched a scavenger hunt for the artwork. So what you do is you go to the spot, you post a picture with the hashtag #TheHuntForFiber, and then you fill out the form for the prize. Now, I think we're kind of defeating the whole scavenger hunt purpose here because we're about to give you the locations. The Austin murals are at I-35 and 6th, Encore Records, and the Google Fiber space downtown.
If you plan to shop this weekend, prepare for the big crowds of people. Millions of last-minute holiday shoppers are going to greet you at the stores. It's getting down to the wire. The National Retail Federation's latest survey finds 53% of consumers plan to shop this Saturday. That's 126 million people. 6% say they're going to wait to shop Christmas Eve, that's Sunday, and 5% say they're just going to wait to shop after Christmas. By the way, if you do want to head to the mall, last-minute shoppers, good news. The Domain and Barton Creek Square Mall are staying open longer. The Domain will be open from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. leading up to Christmas Eve. Tomorrow and Saturday, Barton Creek Square Mall, the hours are 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. Both locations say they're going to be open Christmas Eve too, 8 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m.
Finished mine yesterday when I put all the checks in the mail.
Good for you.
To the nieces and nephews. That was my shopping. A couple from Tennessee has welcomed a new baby girl just in time for Christmas, but it's how they got there that makes it special.
As Madison Wade reports, the girl grew from the longest frozen embryo ever, result in a birth.
Yep, month-old on Christmas.
She's their pride and joy.
Best Christmas gift ever.
Little Emma Wren will have a miracle story to tell one day.
People say, oh, well, it's science. No, I think it's just purely the Lord. Like, this is a gift from the Lord, for sure.
Tina and Benjamin Gibson never thought they would be able to have kids.
We just started praying about it, and gosh, we prayed and prayed and prayed.
They considered adoption. They fostered for about a year until they realized they could take a chance at having a family at the National Embryo Donation Center in Knoxville.
Honestly, you know, we didn't know if it would even work.
After an appointment in January, Tina went through with a frozen embryo transfer in March. She remembers time stood still, waiting for those results.
The longest 11 days of our lives.
When she found out she was pregnant,
I just couldn't believe it, that I was carrying a baby.
Tina thought that was the miracle story in all this, until the doctors told her how long the embryo had been waiting for her.
Just so you know, this is going to be a world record. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, it's been frozen for 24 and a half years. I just stared at them. I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding?
Little Emma Wren was conceived in 1992, the same year Tina was born.
You know, we could have been best friends. And he was like, oh my gosh.
While it may have taken more than 24 years, Tina and Benjamin believe Emma Wren was always part of their plan.
It's just so special. You know, I just think that it shows, you know, that's just the kind of God that we serve, you know, that he would do something like that for us, you know, it's just precious.
Wow. Lucky Texas couple are newlyweds after getting married at their nursing home. You might remember we told you about this yesterday. Chris Davis introduced us to Ann Hoover and Alan Sealhammer yesterday morning here on the broadcast. They met in November when he moved into the Brookdale retirement home in New Braunfels. He's 78, she's 87, and a bit of high tech to this wedding as well. Friends and family were able to watch it all live streaming on Facebook. And now they are moving in together, by the way, to the same room
in the facility.
At their facility there.
That's great. Well, to many more years. We were all watching excited. 8:48, guys. We're gearing up for near record heat today, but big changes are on the way tomorrow. Here's cold front number 1, not far away. It's 2 below 0 up in Fargo. That air arrives here in about 24 hours. This air takes until Christmas Eve, but it does get to Texas. Look at these temperatures in the Yukon Territory, 15, 18 degrees below 0. Hey, quick update. We've had a little bit of fog creeping in briefly, not in Austin, but way out east in LaGrange. You can see it's light there on Highway 77, and it's confined to our far eastern counties. I say briefly because this is going to start mixing out and vanish very quickly. Today, even though we're getting rid of the fog, we're introducing a lot of clouds this afternoon. That's not going to stop us, though, with a gusty south wind from almost reaching a record high, 79 on this first day of winter. Record stands at 81. Check out the clouds coming into the state from west to east. This is a sign of things to come from that next storm. Not only the cold front that I showed you, but a big storm system attached to it. This thing is bringing lots and lots of inches of snow to places like Salt Lake City, Utah, and all the ski areas that finally can enjoy some of that. Here at home, it's going to be a cold and wet day tomorrow. Now, this afternoon, we've got clouds pulling in, and this evening, as soon as the Trail of Lights, a couple sprinkles, some drizzle, and even some light fog. Not going to rain out the Trail of Lights because that takes heavy rain to do that, but maybe bring the rain gear, not the jacket tonight. Now, tomorrow morning, we're gearing up for a wet morning drive if you do have to go to work. We got some scattered rain and also thunderstorms likely through the morning, through the afternoon, and then I'm more optimistic now in your forecast. This is good news. Rain should be out of here after dinner time tomorrow, clearing the way for a cold but hopefully dry Friday night for your plans. Severe storm outlook. Yeah, this is new this morning. East of 35, not today, but tomorrow. We could see an isolated severe storm with gusty winds, an isolated tornado. Don't hold your breath waiting on it. This is a marginal threat, 1 out of 5. Probably won't happen, but we can never ignore that. But they're light. If you get under one of those heavier storms, which there aren't going to be a lot of them tomorrow, to an inch, most of us quarter or a third of an inch. So when does the jacket weather come? Not tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon and evening. Here are your forecast temperatures reaching the 70s briefly, but then after lunchtime, watch them plummeting. 50s in Austin by dinner time and 40s by your late night plans out and about. So our forecast today gets a little cloudy, but it's nice and warm. It's dry, 79. We might hit 72 tomorrow, depending on the rain and when the cold front arrives. After that, look at us plummeting down to 41 or so on Saturday morning. Second cold front, it is even more powerful. It's going to give us a couple days in the 40s and 50s. Low temperatures on Christmas morning. They're still looking freezing cold, but unfortunately, kids, still no chance of snow flurries with your latest forecast. I'll be watching it, though, and let you know if that changes. Let's talk to Amanda. Lots of green on your maps, but you have a couple delays.
We have a few, and most of them have been the ones we've been talking about all morning long, David, but you're right. At 8:51 here on Thursday before Christmas, it looks like everybody's enjoying their holiday already. All right, good for you if you are. If you're not, and you're about to get on northbound 35, let me warn you here. You might want to stick to northbound Mopac. You may want to think about northbound SH 130 because remember that semi we told you about that burst into flames overnight around 2:30 this morning? Well, crews are still trying to clean that up. So in order to do that, they have one lane closed on 35 near Grand Avenue Parkway, and that's just making a mess of the backup. You can see it's slow past Palmer Lane, just crawling along. Let's talk about travel times. If you can't avoid it, Breaker to Grand Avenue Parkway, about a 35-minute backup.
For a 6-week-old baby is over this morning. Houston police say they found Shamali Flores safe in a Houston apartment. They say the investigation, though, is still, quote, very active. but have not given any other details. There was an Amber Alert issued after the baby's mother was found dead Tuesday morning. The baby's father was initially named a suspect. He was later found in San Antonio without the baby. He says he did not kill the baby girl's mother. Police now say the baby may have been taken by someone who knew the family and was pretending to be the baby's mother. Houston police say they're going to be providing an update later this morning.
Police in Melbourne, Australia, investigating after a car plows into a crowd of people on a busy street overnight. 2 men were arrested, 14 were injured. One is a child with serious head injuries. Police are calling it a deliberate act, but they're not saying if it was terror related.
Most of our rush hour has wrapped up. We still have major delays on northbound 35 approaching Pflugerville after an incident involving a semi that caught flame. Flames are out, no injuries reported. Consider northbound Mopac or 130 as your alternate.
Almost at record highs, even with some clouds rolling in. 79 this afternoon. Getting colder and rainy late tomorrow.
All right, David, thank you very much, and thank you for being here as well.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.